Hey y'all, welcome back and hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving surrounded by your loved ones. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. What case is this? Where's the mystery? Where's the investigation? Well, today we're doing something a little different. We just celebrated Thanksgiving. Christmas is right around the corner. I know, time has just flown by this year. And honestly, after covering so many dark and heavy cases, I think we all need a moment to breathe, to remember that there's still good in this world, still innocence, still hope. So today I'm sharing a story that just melted my heart. It's about a young boy, an injured wolf, and a reminder of the pure, unfiltered compassion that exists in the hearts of our children. Trust me, you're gonna want to stay for this one. Hi, y'all, and welcome back. And if this is your first time here, welcome aboard. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and make sure that you end up turning your bell notifications to all. That way, then you don't miss any of my upcoming videos as I put them out. And if you wouldn't mind, please like this video. And if you feel that it's shareable, please share it with everyone you know. And leave me a comment down there. I do read all my comments. So let's get started.
The content you are about to watch contains the subject matter of a real-life true crime event. Therefore, it is not suitable for all ages and is only intended for adults.
Now, before we dive into this story, I do want to let y'all know, while I want to believe in the story, I have not been able to find any definitive proof that this really happened. I will link the news article and a few Facebook posts I found on it, but I have not found any information on where it happened or any other details other than what was mentioned in the article. It appears that it may have happened somewhere on the West Coast in the US. Now, this is based on a timestamp that I seen in one of the images that was in the article, and the timestamp said that it was in the Pacific time zone. However, this is just speculation on my part. Also, it does appear to be more of a coyote to me in the images, but they call it a wolf in the article text. So I will call it a wolf throughout this video since I am referencing the article for this story. Either way, I am sharing this story because whether it is true or not, it still holds a profound message. I personally choose to believe in this story because I want to believe there is still innocence like this in the world. But you be the judge for yourself. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on in. Okay, so picture this. You're a mom and you notice something odd. For 4 days straight, your young son has been coming home from school later than usual. Not drastically late, but just enough to notice. Enough to wonder why. So naturally, you ask him about it each day. And his answer is the same every day. It is simple and innocent, the way only a child can deliver it. I just stopped to say hello to the husky. Now, your neighbors own a husky, so this makes perfect sense. Kids love dogs, and your son is no exception. He's probably just spending a few extra minutes petting the family pet on his way home. No big deal, right? Except when you casually mention this to your neighbors, they tell you something that stops you cold. Their husky has been away all week. So if their dog isn't there, who or what has your young son been visiting every single day? As a mom, that question would haunt you. For me, personally, that would set my anxiety on overdrive. And it definitely haunted the mom in this story. So the next day, driven by anxiety and a need for answers, the mom decides to follow her son after school. She keeps her distance, staying just far enough back that he wouldn't notice her, but close enough to see where he's going. She follows him down familiar streets, through the neighborhood until he turns into an alley. And what she sees when she catches up, it's something she'll never forget. Her young son is kneeling on the ground, but he's not with a husky. He's not with any dog at all. He's with a wolf, a real wild wolf, and it's in terrible condition. Its leg is broken. The poor thing can barely move, and it's clear this poor creature has been abandoned by its pack, and it's struggling to survive. And her son, he's just sitting there, completely calm, gently sharing his snacks with this injured animal, offering comfort, kindness, and the only thing a child knows how to give, unconditional love. Can you imagine what must have been going through this mom's mind? The fear, yes, but I can imagine that quickly turns to an overwhelming sense of awe and pride. Her son hadn't been late because he was messing around or getting into trouble. He'd been late because he was saving a life. Every single day, without telling anyone, this little boy had been coming to this alley to feed an injured wolf, to make sure it wasn't alone, to keep it alive without any fear. Once the mom realized what was happening, she knew she had to act. She immediately contacted Animal Rescue Services, and they arrived quickly to help. The wolf was carefully rescued and taken in for medical treatment. It underwent surgery to repair its broken leg, and over time, thanks to proper care and, let's be honest, thanks to that little boy's daily visits and the unconditional love he showed the once wild animal, the wolf recovered. It regained its strength, its health, and its life. And all of it started because one child saw a living being in pain and decided to do something about it. Think about that for a second. This boy didn't have the resources to fix the wolf's injury. He couldn't perform surgery or provide medical care. But what he could do, what he did do, was show up day after day with his snacks, his presence, and his unwavering compassion. And that was enough to keep the wolf alive until real help could arrive. So why am I sharing this story with you today? Because I think we need it. I think I need it. This channel covers a lot of darkness. We dive into the worst things people can do to each other. We examine the failures of systems, the depths of human cruelty, the tragedies that leave families shattered. And while this work is important, shedding light on those stories, seeking justice for the victims and their families and loved ones, keeping victims' memories alive, that matters. But so does this. This story reminds us of something we often forget as adults. Children see the world differently than we do. They don't immediately label things as dangerous or threatening. They don't let fear or prejudice cloud their judgment. They don't overthink whether helping someone or something is worth the risk. They just see a life in need and they respond with unconditional love and compassion. I read that when the story of this boy and the wolf spread online, thousands of people were moved by it. One comment that really stuck with me said, quote, "Children see the world differently than we do. They don't label things as dangerous. They simply see a life in need of love." End quote. That's it. That's the whole lesson right there. This boy didn't look at that wolf and think, this is a wild predator that could hurt me. He looked at it and thought, this animal is hurt and needs help. No hesitation, no second guessing, just pure instinctual compassion. As we head into the holiday season, a time that's supposed to be about love, generosity, and togetherness, I want us to take something from this story. We don't need to do grand, sweeping gestures to make a difference. We don't need to have all the answers or all the resources. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply just show up. Show up for the people in our lives who are struggling. Show up for the animals who have no voice. Show up for the causes we believe in, even when it feels like our contribution is too small to matter. That little boy didn't think his snacks would save a wolf's life, but they did because he showed up every single day. So maybe this week, this month, this holiday season, let's try to see the world a little more like children do, with less judgment, less fear, less cynicism, and with a lot more love. Now, before I close, I want to take a moment to tell y'all about someone special in my life who showed unconditional love to those in need. And it did not matter who you were, the color of your skin, your religion, your sexual preference, or what you did in your past. So I'm going to get a little personal here. When I was a teenager, I was engaged to be married to my high school sweetheart, as some would call it, which didn't work out in the end, but we are still friends to this day. His parents were divorced, and he lived mostly with his mom. But before I go any further, though, I do have to say, I have a great mom, and I do love her dearly, and I would never trade her for anything in this world. But my ex's mom was everyone's mom. If you knew my ex or his sister, you knew no matter what happened, you would always have a place to lay your head, even if that meant camping out on the floor. Being mom was a single parent, working as much as she could. I mean, I remember that could be as much as 80 hours a week just to keep the household going. Money was very tight. I mean, extremely tight. But everyone knew that if you were hungry, that didn't matter to Mom. Mom always had enough for whoever stopped by and was hungry, even if she had to go without. Everything that woman did was for her kids, all of them, even the ones that she didn't give birth to. And she never asked for anything in return, except maybe a hug. She sure did love her hugs. If you ever walked out of that house hungry, that was your own fault. I even remember times when my ex and I would get into fights, and she would bring the hammer down on him. She did not treat me like her son's girlfriend or fiance. She treated me like I was her own daughter, which in some ways did make it kind of weird at times. But even years later, after I married someone else and had kids with him, she wanted to meet my boys so she could spoil them like any grandma would. But unfortunately, she was taken from us back in February of 2024 due to cancer before that happened, because my husband and I ended up moving out of town. But here recently, one of my son's friends had fallen on some hard times, and I wanted to help him like Mom used to help everyone. So we have taken him and his dog in to help him get back on his feet. We may not have much, and he knows that, but we have more than him and want to see him get back on the right track. So why would I tell you about this personal story about my life on such a public platform? It is very simple, and actually for two reasons. Number one reason is because we should all be at least a little like Mom at some point in our lives, and if possible, every day of our life. While the main story of this video is about the unlikely friendship of a wild animal and a boy that eventually helped to save that animal's life, there are also a lot of human lives out there that could use that unconditional love to help save their life. It may not even be in the literal sense, but maybe just in the sense that they need that little extra help to get them back on the right track again. At Mom's celebration of life, it was so heartwarming to hear from those that she helped throughout her life to get back on the right track again when they thought they were at the end of their rope. The number two reason is so that I can show my appreciation for Mom and do my own little tribute to a wonderful and very special lady that was taken from us way too soon. Rest in peace, Scherryl Mom Hill. And for those of you that watch this and knew Mom, you probably still hear her singing "I'm Shaving" when Garth Brooks' "I'm Shameless" comes on, still to this day. I know I do. Well, I hope this story brought you a little light today. I know it did for me. If you enjoyed this break from our usual content, please let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll make this a holiday tradition, one wholesome story at the end of the year to remind us why we do this work in the first place. Or if you would like me to do something like this, say once a month or once every couple of months, just to break up the darkness. I could do that too. Just let me know down there in the comments. And hey, if y'all have a heartwarming story you think I should cover, drop it down below. I'd love to hear it. As always though, thank you so much for watching and for all of your continued support. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, even the smallest act of kindness can change everything. Y'all stay safe out there, stay happy, and until next time, bye-bye y'all.